Hello, my name is Tressa Lang. I grew up in Wabeno, Wisconsin on the Forest County Potawatomi Reservation, and what I hope to bring to conservation is to bridge the gap between traditional indigenous knowledge and Western sciences, because I think there is a big gap, especially going to college and learning Western sciences, and before that only knowing traditional practices that I grew up with. So I think when it comes to restoration projects, there's a lot we can learn and benefit from each other.
Hi, my name is Olivia Vasquez, and I'm from Seattle, Washington, and I go to Oberlin College. And what I hope to bring to the field of conservation is my love of environmental studies and computer science. I grew up in the Pacific Northwest and was really fortunate enough to be surrounded by nature, so that has been the motivation of why I wanted to pursue environmental studies. But I really like what you can create with computer science and coding, and I hope to bring those skills to the environmental cause.
My name is Hannah Marie Lucero, and I'm from the Pueblo of Sutter, New Mexico. Through conservation, I will address environmental racism, specifically the targeting and exploitation of Native American lands and their surrounding communities.
Hi, my name is Mariel Ortega. I'm from San Antonio, Texas, and I go to Texas A&M University. Boop. My conservation story is birds. When I was in 7th grade, we moved to a new house with a huge wooded backyard. It was impossible not to notice the birds, but I fell in love with them. As the years have gone by and I've participated in several programs, such as the DORIS Duke Conservation Scholars program, my understanding of conservation continually broadens. I'm going to be an ornithologist, but it isn't just about saving the birds. It's about saving the birds to save the world.
Hi, my name is Victoria Maris, and I'm from Pomona, California. What I hope to do in conservation is to use law and policy to help protect people and ecosystems that continue to be ignored. As a Chicana who is a first-generation college student, my goal is to diversify the field by becoming an environmental lawyer who protects disadvantaged communities from harm.
Hello, I'm Denise Marquez, and I come from Reno, Nevada. What I hope to bring to conservation is inclusive perspectives. I come from a family of immigrants, and I'm a first-generation student, so I understand what it's like to feel excluded, and also the richness of culture. And for that reason, I want to be in leadership positions in order to find ways to get rid of this toxic situation that we're in and develop real solutions.
Hi, my name is Daniela Smith, and I'm from New York City. I want to go into the field of conservation because the environmental movement is currently at an impasse. There's a disconnect between traditional, predominantly white, conservation groups and environmental justice groups. And I want to help bridge this gap to create one movement dedicated to saving our planet that is inclusive of all people. Coming from a diverse background, my experiences navigating tense spaces as a biracial individual have allowed me to relate to a variety of different people, and I think this will be beneficial in the field of conservation. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Lady Wilmer Claudio. I'm from San Juan, Puerto Rico, and I'm majoring on marine biology. What I bring to conservation is my enthusiasm in educating people and providing them with the power of knowledge.
Hi, my name is Esmeralda Hick, and I am a third year at UC Irvine studying Earth System Science and Chicano Latino Studies with a minor in civic and community engagement. And my conservation story really begins with my community. I come from the Coachella Valley, which is located in Southern California, and it's a place that really faces a lot of economic, social, and environmental adversity. The struggles I faced growing up made me realize that there is an intersection between social and environmental issues, and now I want to dedicate myself to fighting for my community and other communities like it, communities that have been institutionally placed at a disadvantage. I want to use my education to empower other communities by making information accessible and using science as activism to make sure that these communities are able to have access to healthy environments that they are entitled to, while also fighting the social and economic inequalities placed upon us by society.
My name is Ivana Caspeta, and I'm from Scottsdale, Arizona. What I hope to do in conservation is contribute to the protection of marine and coastal ecosystems, as well as Sonoran desert ecosystems, so that these unique biological communities can remain resilient. I also want to create opportunities for Spanish-speaking communities in these regions to become more involved and interested in conservation.
My name is Daniel Morgan, and I'm from Chesapeake, Virginia. What I bring to the field of conservation is the idea that sometimes the bad guys can do the greatest good of all, and working with them can change the future for the better.
Hi, my name is Daniel Alejandro, and I'm from Queens, New York. I'm a junior studying civil and environmental engineering at Princeton University. What I bring to conservation is an urban perspective. I want to reconcile the city and nature by developing environmental solutions at the intersection of urban sustainability, green infrastructure, and coastal resilience.
My name is Melissa Lopez and I am from Los Angeles, California. Mono Lake is a special place to me because it represents the intersection of conservation and policy. Mono Lake was a compromise that was done between the water demands of the LA Basin and the local community's desire to see a natural habitat restored as well as their health restored as well.
Hi, my name is Chavita Leah, and I'm from Indianapolis, Indiana, and one of my favorite places is La Finca, which is an organic farm that I worked on the summer before my freshman year of college. I really like this place because it was one of the first times that I was introduced to sustainable living and sustainable growing. It was one of the first times that I saw that our growing practices are going to be altered by climate change. And more importantly, it was one of the first times that I had a hands-on experience with conservation, and it showed me that I could make a difference within the field.
Hello, my name is Wujiko Katero and I am from Pomfret, Connecticut. And what I plan to do in conservation is to extend international development to include environmental conservation. And what that looks like is ensuring that future international conservation work prioritizes cultural competency and language acquisition along with technical assistance. Additionally, I like to serve as a mentor for other Black and Brown students within the field, as there is a lack of POC mentors in the field.
My name is Storm Lewis. I'm from Brooklyn, New York, and what I would like to do in the field of conservation is to work with local communities facing food scarcity so that I can help close the gap between low-income communities and fresh produce. Ideally, I would like to work with farmers doing research in order to help promote sustainable agriculture.
My name is Mickey Tang, and I'm from Sacramento, California. What I bring to conservation is the perspective that humans are a part of nature and not separate from it, and that environmental problems are social problems. I also believe that conservation efforts at the level of grassroots organizations and small communities are just as important as global efforts. As a mentor, I also bring the reminder that self-awareness and self-care are extremely important, especially in fields like this that can be very selfless.
Hi, I'm Kyle Reed from Chicago, Illinois, and what I bring to conservation is a city kid perspective. I was raised in Chicago, so alleys, crime, big buildings, and I still found a way to fall in love with nature, the ants, the squirrels, the stuff in my local neighborhood. And I want to give that same experience to people coming up like me. So learn about the stuff nearby you, learn about the stuff out there, get out. Now I'm in California with the DORIS Duke Scholars program, and I'm learning about all the beautiful things out here on the coast. And I want to give that same experience to the next generation so they can learn about nature, protect nature, and then pay it forward to the next generation.
Hi, my name is Justin Cummings. I'm the director of the DORIS Duke Conservation Scholars program, originally from Chicago, Illinois. And what I bring to conservation is a passion for protecting the environment for future generations, and a passion for increasing diversity within the field of conservation and making conservation more inclusive so that everyone's voice can be included in the conservation movement.